Hello and welcome back to Nguru the Guru. This is a channel where we deal with Docker, Kubernetes, and databases, mainly MySQL and Postgres. There's nothing like the community feel among developers, and that is the purpose we have this channel. So if you're liking what we have, please like and subscribe so that we may reach more of our community and continue building each other. So in the same vein, we have come up with a plan where we share a Docker command every week. This is on my LinkedIn page and it is linked in the description. So find that if you've not been following on LinkedIn every day of the week. So after the end of the week, we will be preparing a video which will deal with all the commands we have handled for the week. And without further ado, let's get going. So we are going to be dealing with a creation command on Docker, a naming command on Docker, then we have the ports, and then we have running on the background, and then we combine all this into one command, and then we are done, guys. So let's get started. So we're going to be using Nginx image. So always note, in Docker we have things that we call images, and then we have things that we call containers. So images are just the compiled requirements, and then when you compile the image and run it, you form a container. So we are going to be creating containers today from the Nginx image. So let's start with the first step. The first step is a creation. So how do you create an Nginx container? So all you need to do, for example, this is a root access, so I do not need to do sudo. Sudo is required for root access or to be able to run the root commands. So ensure you have installed Docker. So this is my terminal for Ubuntu version 22 on DigitalOcean. So DigitalOcean provides you 100 credits for free, so you can try them, or Linode also does the same, so you can try either of them and come up with a virtual machine on Ubuntu or CentOS or whichever flavor that you may like, and then you can follow along with me. So let's start with the creation. So I'll need to sudo and then docker, which is what we're dealing with today. So docker and then run, because we already have the image compiled. So run, then what is our image? So our image is Nginx. And also note, the image has to be public. So Nginx is a public image. If you go to Docker Hub, you're going to find that Nginx is a public image. And if I do not add the tag here, all I'm saying is I want the latest. If I do not have 1.0 or if I do not have 1.0.1 Alpine, I have not specified the flavor. So I just want the Nginx latest image. So let's just run that. So you can see and able to find the image. So it pulls the image from Docker Hub. So that should not take long. Yeah, so you can see it has gotten the image, and you can see the running processes. So you can see the image is running. So that is the first step, the creation step. So you can just terminate that. So Control C, we have exited, and then we just clear. So we have created the image. Now we go to the second step, naming the image. Sudo docker run. So remember, in the first one we did not give it a name. So if I open another terminal, let's just do the first command again. Sorry for this one, I'll just close this. Okay, so let's do the first command again. Sudo docker run the image Nginx. So there you go. So this time it will not pull because the image was already pulled in the previous step. So I'll just add another terminal here, so you can see there. And if I do sudo docker ps, so we can just get all, it should show me all the containers that are available. So you can see up 14 seconds we have objective Loveless. So what it does, Docker gives a UUID to uniquely identify the container. So what will happen, by default it uses the long UUID. So it can use three things. It can use the name you give, it can use the long UUID, or it can use the short one. So you can see. So there you go. So the container is created. So if I exit, if I go back to my first container and exit. So just Control C, you can see exited. Go back to the first terminal, you can clear this and then go up to get the first command. You can see both have exited now. So let me just clear them out. So we can just prune. So I did not say container, sudo docker container prune, so that we can prune all the containers that are not tied. Yes, just say yes, then you clear. So now we should not have any containers. Yeah, that is what we should have. So let's go to the second step. So we are through with the creation now. Let's go to naming. So remember I have said it can use Docker. If you do not give the name, it will use either of the three methods. First, you can give the name. Secondly, it can use the long UUID, or it can use a short one. So let's now show when you have named it. Remember, the first container was given just a random name. So let's go ahead and sudo docker. So it's just the same, sudo docker run. This time I'll have the name. So we can just name it Nginx container. And then what is our image? Nginx. So remember, in the first step, we didn't have this. So let's see what happens. Let me just run that. So you can see it's still running. It doesn't pull because the container was already there. So we go back to the second, then sudo docker ps. So we get all the containers, and you can see now I have a container named Nginx cont. Or I could, to ensure that we only pull in that, you can just do sudo docker ps. Then you can grep Nginx. You can see, so we only have Nginx container, and this container is coming from the image Nginx. So that is that. So let's go and exit. So the naming is quite easy. So clear, we have exited. Let's prune the container. You can also remove the container this way, rm, and then you can force it out. If it is running, force it. If it's not running, you don't need to force it. So let me get this. There you go. You can see it's deleted. So now we can just check if it's there. You can see it's not there, so we can clear. Let's get back. So we have done the creation, we have done the naming. Now let's expose a port to it, so a port that we can listen to. So let's go to, so let's go to sudo docker run, and then we have, let's have the name. Let's have the name. I don't know why it's not typing sometimes. Let's just clear that. Sudo docker run, then we have the name Nginx cont. I wrote C point, so cont, and then we have Nginx. I'm forgetting something. Name. Exposing to what port? You can do 7070, but so this is the host port, so this is in the host, and then we have the container port. So Nginx generally listens to port 80, so go to port 80 and then container Nginx, and then you can just run. I did not put sudo docker, so I had an error in the container in the command. So sudo docker run name Nginx container, and then we have the host port. The host port is 7070, and I have the container port is 80, and the image is Nginx. So now we should have that. So let's go back and find our command. So you can see now Nginx is listening on point 7070 on port 7070 on the outside. So now if we went to the IP address of on the internet, we would be able to access this. But before we go there, let's just exit this and do the final command. So remember, we did creation, we did naming, we did port. So now we're going to do the fourth one, which we have showcased throughout the week, and the fourth one is running on the background. If you notice, if I exit, the container exits. So like now if we go and check this, you can see the container is no longer there. So let's just clear that. So now sudo docker run. So now what you're going to do is allow it to run in the background. So let's go ahead. So we detach, that is allowing it to run in the background. We have had this port 7070 and 80. So that is a host port, this is a container port. Then we have the name nginx container. Then we have the image nginx. Remember, we forgot something, because you did not just name it, you have to have that, the name there. So now we should be good. I want to delete this. Sometimes this keeps misbehaving, so let me just type again. Sudo docker run dash port 7070 80. Then we can have the name nginx container. Then we can have the image nginx. So now you see, it just gives you the long UUID. This is a unique identifier. If you are searching for this container, you can take the first 4 or 5 of the UUID and you'll be able to find the container. So yes, you can just search it from here, because it's not it's running in the background. So sudo docker yes, so you should get that. So you can see ours exited, the one that we had before. So this time we named it nginx container. So you can see it's up for 20 seconds. Remember, this one was the nginx con. It did not have, it had a port, but it was not running in the background. So it's the reason why it has exited. And remember, it was using the same port 7070. So if this one was still running, we'd have an error here. So it's nice to note that. So now guys, you've covered creation, you've covered naming, you've gone ahead and covered the port, you've covered the background running. So I believe you've set for the basics of Docker. And for extras on this video, go to the IP address of your virtual machine and the port, the host port, and then check whether you're able to see the starter page for nginx, and then comment in the comment section. So guys, that has been all from us for this week. Thank you.
Well done, boy.